So this is Splitgate 2 beta. Um, I am not doing gameplay. This is not about this. This is a real quick rundown. This is just a something to show the marathon devs about what I think people are talking about when they mean um, what they are afraid the game might be and what people would like from my perspective to see. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to move right over here. As you can see, when I think of hero shooter, I think of um, I think of Destiny and the different classes, and technically they are different heroes because they play differently. You have go here. I haven't played the game, but I'm just going to go off aesthetics from a Destiny perspective because I play Destiny. This would be the Titan. This would be the Warlock, and this would be the Hunter. That's just how it looks. Um, as far as customization options go to Locker. There's looks like male and female. So I'm just going to go into aesthetics. The reason why I picked this game to look at is it looks just like Mirror's Edge and sort of like the whole marathon aesthetic where you got the near future. It looks like something that could something that could exist, like you could see out in a battlefield in a couple of years, like 10, 20 more years. Um, but this is sort of like the customization I think people are wanting is more like the Halo, the old Halo, like Halo Reach, like Destiny, where you have the helmet, you have the arms. But when people hear hero shooter, they get really concerned. They think Overwatch, where you can't really change the gender um, of the characters, and I'm saying a lot, but you can't change the gender of the characters. You can't really do any stuff that you could do in more like traditional MMO. Um, so the wording I think is throwing people off when you say it's not traditional hero shooter. So what is a hero shooter? I really don't think people would consider Destiny a hero shooter. Really, I more think that people would look at it as a light MMO, almost like a light RPG, where there's some sort of there's a lot of different stuff in there. It's hard to really say what it is. It's a first-person shooter. Um, sometimes, and so there's that, but wording side, that's the concern people have, I think, and also the not wanting it to be Fortnite, the ability for it to be able to compete with something that's already established. You have Tarkov already. For people who like extraction shooters, the only problem with Tarkov is it's not on a console. From what I've seen, it might be on Xbox or Nintendo might have it, but it's not on PlayStation, so I don't care. Um, and then you have a bunch of other stuff. But the other stuff that's on consoles, from what I've seen on PlayStation's end, is that it's sort of a a Fortnite, whereas I'm hoping it's more like Tarkov, right? That it's not really that you have time to really screw around and sort of do what you want within a round's reason. You know, the time is really relative. It's more of how long can you survive in a multiplayer environment with AI that also want to kill you and traders and stuff. But what I'm fuck, excuse me. What I'm really getting at is that customization is what people want. Um, you have the whole thing with Titanfall where you have your pilot, and the way they treat the pilot model is different than the mech model. And it sounds like you have from the lore standpoint, you have a pilot, and then you have these mechs, which are the runners, which are the different, the light, heavy, medium, or the Titan Hunter Warlock, and they look different. One looks beefier, one looks a bit more, like tech, like hacker, and then this one looks more like a scout. Um, so maybe like a trade-off where one has um, Not even that, not even a trade-off, just like make it cosmetic. I think um, the way that Destiny handles it is really, really fine, to where everybody sort of has each other's class ability built in, and it just comes down to cosmetics. Um, I think a lot of games and MMOs have fallen into that trap where it's sort of like, well, the heavy guy has to have more health, or the agile hunter has to be a woman and has to have a bow or whatever, and the stats are sort of locked. And it's like, is it a game as a form of escape? Treating it too much like reality would take away from it. So it's like maybe just make it cosmetic, like Halo Reach did. The male models and the female models use the abilities the same way. There isn't really a difference. The only difference is that people may pick a female model because they feel like the hitbox is smaller. So um, but all that to say is people want to see customization. And the not your traditional hero shooter isn't really, I come from Halo, I come from Destiny, and a lot of other people have as well. And we're used to, that terminology could explain Halo and Destiny very well. Maybe a bunch of other games where it's sort of like you could make this big bulky person be a ranger, just sort of plinking with arrows and stuff. But I am going to get to the uh, the guns. So there's different different sort of like Call of Duty, sort of like Black Ops. You have it looks like there could be like barrel options where you have the different barrels and you have the different cosmetics and stuff. Not cosmetics, but customization, and they have different stats. Just and you look at any videos of the Black Ops games of the 2042 gameplay, despite what people might think, that's what people like. They like the different barrels, the silencers and stuff, and you have to use a gun. You have to use the gun and get the proficiency up, and then you get to unlock all the fun toys. So the gun may be garbage, while other people are using the nicer guns, but that gets you up to a point where it's sort of like they have to rank it up anyway, and the guns that are nicer, that handle a little bit better, might be harder for them to unlock the better stuff because it's already a good gun. Whereas like the starter kit weapons are garbage, but they're easier to get the proficiency up. You get the fun toys a lot quicker. In terms of a extraction shooter, you might have your starter kit, like Tarkov has scavs. I don't know how they're going to deal with that. This is more of like that's gameplay. This is more of cosmetics, which I think is the big thing right now that would get people buying stuff. And the more individual things are, but functional and they look nice, that would get people pulled in. There are a bunch of other games right now that are adding too much stuff in, so it's sort of like making the stuff nice enough to have people want to get more of it, while not like here's a thing and here's the thing and here's the thing. And it's sort of like the problem that Destiny's in right now, where the people who've been playing have so much stuff, but then the people who come in really don't have anything. They have starter kits and stuff. So it's also, as far as customization goes, the more you can customize on a character, how far in am I? 8 minutes, good. The more you can customize on a character, the more invested someone is. It's just how it is. You have Final Fantasy, you have let's say Final Fantasy, the online version of it. Someone can make a anime character. Someone could put a one-to-one version of themselves in it. I don't know how you guys are going to handle the actual person, how involved they're going to be, but um, like Destiny, the amount of people who play without their helmets on is very small. So you could have one operator, almost like an operator. So like take the analog of the Destiny Guardian, and that could be you pick, the male and female. Since it doesn't sound like there's going to be any sort of bearing on what you pick. If you have that option for your runner, that's separate. If it comes down to development time, I think people would rather have you develop more of what you're going to see. So the runners, I would care more about what the runners look like and what you can customize than if you have the actual person. Whereas almost like, you pick sort of like, like Eve, where you have the portrait of the captain, and that's about it. You move around a little bit, but maybe people don't care too much. Warframe has the same thing. They have their operator. People mostly use the Warframes, and that's a good analog. If you want to look at stuff that has sort of like the same thing, the Warframe is the runner, and then you have the user or the operator, which is sort of like a drone pilot. Um, or you could just do what some MMOs do, some Asian MMOs do, mech games. They just have the person in a full suit. You just pick the gender, you pick the color of the suit maybe, and that's where you sell the customization. Is if people, if you have streamers, you have people who make content who want sort of like, they're using their character to talk and do motions, sort of like, Destiny videos, how people use emotes to do like stuff and they cut things together, that'd be a good option for them. But for people who are just playing, who want to get into the runner, you sort of give them like the base, it's like, the basic thing to get them involved in the game. It's like, okay, this is my sim suit I'm wearing, it's some sort of in-universe excuse, and then just put all the work into the runners and make like, hell, even like I said, Battlefield, where you can like replace the scopes and stuff. If you're going to do that, like maybe take the customization you have into the Battlefield guns, where you can remove the scope and you can remove the clips and change it up. Have it sort of like prosthetic limbs now. They're modular. You can, like maybe there's different trade-offs. How you have the Destiny guns have different mod slots, but there's always a trade-off. And then they have it to where you can make guns, and that's you're trading even more stuff. Do you want more damage or do you want more reload? And something always comes at the price of something else. But it should be like up to the person, maybe what they want, how the benefit be. And I get in an extraction shooter. How late am I running? Okay. And an extraction shooter that you sort of want to be like Tarkov. You have to buy stuff from vendors. You have to find stuff. Fine. But to get people invested, I think it has to be some sort of physical investment into like, if not the gun, then the character, right? Put all the investment into like the runner then, where they pick this runner and sort of like they are they're going from zero to hero, right? They can change how far you jump within reason. The different punches and stuff. You have the fragments and aspects in Destiny. You can pick greater strength, and you can punch someone, but that comes at like your health may not come back quicker, and all of those different things can be like change out the shocks or change out the legs. How modular or you know within reason, within scope, you would want to do. I know that if you have like several different runners, like you know the the different guardian types, or some of the Halo games, you have the different classes. They have different starting kits. Um, However many classes. So it's sort of like, do you want to have a bunch of, um, speaking from experience, I'd rather have like I'm going to say Destiny again, Destiny classes. We have the three classes, but they're far more in depth than taking that and separating them over a wider pool of character models and customizations, and bringing it down to like three, at least for people to have like a good, you know, people coming from different games, right? So they have different ways they look, and the way they get customized and stuff, the way they handle colors. Um, and there's sort of something for everybody. Uh, Rather than having like three or four characters like so separated into different things, like some of the COD games, some of the Battlefield games got into that, where it's like instead of focusing and balancing like three groups, three characters, or giving them like the best customization option, the best optimized, you know, where everything works and it's still fun, from the get go. I think people would be more satisfied with that, like have a great push, and then over the years, how many years marathon is out for, then you bring it out from there, and maybe have like things people pay for, um, just like there's stuff that people would pay for. Uh, things like, in Warframe, you have people who can put their I believe they can put their own like their own logos in, their own like imagine what you could do for YouTubers, and so people who could like buy something and they could upload like a PNG or something, like they could put their logo on their channel logo on their runner, and it's almost like, you're like, this is sponsored sports, and it's like, oh, this runner's sponsored by, me, or you know anybody else, or just have like, their avatar or something that you could like sell for like, a dollar, $5. People would, depending on what it is, like if it's a pack, maybe $5, like a decal pack. It's like, oh, you just, find some way to get it working there with an engine, and just stuff like that. But that's in the future. This is sort of, to bring it down before I end. Um, this is sort of like what would be good. What I'd like to see to launch with is a Destiny player and as a Halo player is 3 solid classes, very Destiny-like, something that would make the Destiny community feel at home coming into, and maybe some of the Halo players that don't feel like they're getting what they want from Halo. Yeah. Some of these do look a bit like some of these Splitgate. I'm not saying make it like Splitgate. You have your own style, but some of these off, they look a bit like Halo. I think they know kind of what they're doing. Um, and this is just real big right now. You look at ArtStation, you see all sorts of this near future kind of stuff going on. Um, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. That's my wish list. Just a small cast of characters, like 3 Destiny archetypes, and then just focus into their basic. Let's say you want to have a hacker. You make this person the hacker, and then this person would be the scout, and then this person would be, more like the tank, their shields and stuff, and you know just a base kit, and then everybody gets to share everything else. Uh, and just everything comes down to cosmetics at the end of it. I think that's what people want the most, is the gameplay will make itself, if you have a good way to start, but people just want to customize stuff. Like the more stuff you can tint, there's like the better. And of course, being good gameplay as well. But the more people can customize, the longer they'll stay around, and the more can be monetized. It's not like, people don't like Destiny for that, but it has to be there if it's going to be a free to play game, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, anyway, I hope you'll like the video, and